Hello, and welcome to the 1 hour late Joe Daddy's Monday Night live stream. It is Labor Day weekend. Hope you all had a great Labor Day celebration weekend. 3-day weekend typically. Um, you know, it's interesting. We were celebrating. I guess that we work. I guess that's how that works, right? Celebration of working. So anyway, we had a great weekend, and as I said on my little video short that I made, we were running behind schedule. We keep, when we go visit our friends in Alabama, it's an hour behind. It's an hour behind. So a lot of times we just forget about it. We get over there and we just watch the clock and don't think about the time. Well, when we're driving back from Alabama to Georgia, well, you have to add an hour to your time. So the plan initially was to leave over there at 4 o'clock, and we didn't end up leaving till 5 o'clock, which pushed us back an hour on this live stream because I just can't make up time. No matter how fast you drive, you can't usually make up any time. And of course, we enjoyed ourselves. We had a good time, and I'm still here, and I'm still putting on the live stream. So I'm glad you're here, and I want to give a shout out to those who've hung out, waited. Right off the bat, Rick Stevenson. He said he was here, going to be here. He's here, and he gets a bell. He gets a bell for being here. Thank you, Rick. Boogie Bum, hello from Nashville. Glad you are here as well. I can't give everybody a bell, but I'm going to give out some bells. Clark, here, gets a bell. Nandu gets a bell. And Dawn's Manufacturer, hey chaps, made it. Okay, I've given out 5 bells. And that's good. That's good. It's awesome. It is awesome to have anybody show up at this point. And it shows I'm having 14 viewing. That's fine. If you're here, again, hit the thumbs up button on this video, but all the videos. It helps so much to have that algorithm, build up based on how YouTube operates. So March Indy, yes, hit the thumbs up button. Definitely. Thank you, sir. So with that said, I hope you all had a great weekend. We did. We spent a little bit of time on the boat with our friends and did some swimming, hung out, had some food, and just, general chill out weekend. And that was good. But I will tell you this. And I'm I've always been as honest as I can with everybody here. I didn't get a lot of sleep this weekend. I didn't get a lot of sleep. And the reason I didn't get a lot of sleep wasn't because of, late night celebrating, partying, anything like that. It was because I had a lot on my mind. We go to the lake and we want to hang out and just do, hey, Jeff, my buddy. Thank you, sir. You get 5 bells automatically for that. Thank you very, very, very much. Genuinely appreciated. More than you know. And this is all part of exactly what I want to talk about here. But anyway, I didn't get a lot of sleep because I've really been thinking about what I can do to make the channel make money. Be honest. What I can do to keep viewers happy, what I can do to make better videos, what I can do to encourage people to watch the videos. This has been on my mind for months and months and months. Now, why is it on my mind? Well, it has to be. This is now my income, right? And I've talked about this before. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse or anything, but it is a reality, and it is something that I have to consider. So, again, I'm laying there Friday night, just thinking and thinking and thinking. Saturday night, thinking and thinking and thinking. I think honestly I got about 3 to maybe 4 hours sleep Saturday because I just couldn't come up with any kind of solutions. Now, with that said, I'm going to keep making videos on YouTube. We all know that. I mean, at this point, that's what my plan is, to keep making videos on YouTube. I've been debating on a lot of different things as to what I can do to make everybody happy, because I have patrons who support me, and I appreciate them so much. And I try to do what I can to help them, or maybe make some content for them. Right. And I have a lot of people. I have 50,000 subscribers, 51,000, I think now, subscribers to the channel. And what I realize is that there's a lot of subscribers, but it doesn't help if they don't watch the videos, or it doesn't help if they don't hit the thumbs up, or it doesn't help if they don't watch the ads. All that sort of thing comes into play. Now, I'm trying to figure out ways to make everybody happy. I've come up. I posted on Facebook about it. There are different ways that I could do this. One is I move my videos to a whole nother platform, a whole nother platform, whether it be Vimeo or Rumble or whatever, and make it so that it's more of like a pay service type of thing. That's one thing that I could do. It would take a lot of work, and it would, really be difficult for me to transfer stuff to another platform. And then I have to wonder about, well, how do I get my followers from YouTube to jump over there? Will they like this? Will they not? So on and so on. And then another thought process comes into play. Well, I have patrons. I now have like 62, 63 patrons. Okay, which is awesome, because Patreon, when it comes to it, takes a smaller percentage of my revenue than YouTube does. YouTube just kills me. I mean, they take 50% right off the top. So Patreon takes a percentage of whatever people, donate to the cause. So I would love to have 1,000 patrons, something like that. But the reality is, I don't know that people are that interested or want to do that. So as I progress through what my mind has kind of a flow chart. Another thought is that I offer subscriptions on YouTube. Okay. Now I've looked it up. There's some variables with YouTube in the subscription process, and basically, you can have different levels of subscribers. Like you can have 4 different levels. You could have an entry level, mid, whatever. The difficulty with that is then you make stuff that is relevant to each one of those levels. So you compound what you're doing. You make it more complicated. But what I was thinking was, if I went straight to, let's say, a $4.99 a month level, just $4.99. Basically, YouTube is going to take 30% regardless, no matter what I do. Whatever, for that membership plan, then they take 30%, which is better than 50%, right? So I'm looking at that, and trying to figure out what would work best, because I have my patrons who I genuinely appreciate more than anything, and I don't want to lose them at all. So I have to do some weaving in and out of this to see what's going to work. The reality is, and I've talked about this, the reality is that my current revenue from YouTube on a 28-day rotating schedule is about $1,400. Well, you can do the math on that. That's $50 a day on average. And that's counting things like this, where Jeff has donated, super sticker. That spikes it, but the average is $50 a day for what I'm doing. There are tons of people out there who are making $500, $5,000 a day off of this stuff. But I'm not in that bracket. So the reality is, what do I do? How do I make this, make this work? There may be different ways that I can approach the video process. I had Nick commented on here and on my Facebook page that maybe I don't, that I do it more videos like vlog style videos, to where I'm, he mentioned a group of guys called Goon Squad. And I never even heard of these guys. And I went and looked up their channel, and they've got 2.4 million subscribers to their channel. Young guys making, doing all kinds of different things, but they're not like really teaching anything. They're not showing you how to do these things. So as I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, well, this isn't my format. I like to show people how to do things and teach people and give them, be able to do their own projects. The other guys, they talked about, they're kind of like, I guess more in the entertainment realm of the process. So again, I'm thinking about this, thinking about how I can, change my style or change the videos, whether I make videos that are kind of an overview type of process like they do, and then maybe have secondary videos that are more detailed, you know. And it's hard. It's hard because I feel like I have a hardcore group of people that follow my channel, and that's probably, honestly, it feels like 1,000 people, 50,000 subscribers, but I probably have 1,000 or 2,000 that are really serious about following what I do. So anyway, these are things that keep you up at night, or keep me up at night, because I'm trying to do the best for everybody involved. Myself, I have to make money for me, and everybody who watches the channel. I want them to be benefiting from it. My patrons, I want them to benefit from it. So it really makes it a challenge. Yeah, Dustin. Well, here on the right, we got Rick. Rick saying, I can say this. I don't know what you can do to make better videos. And I agree with you. The type of videos that I make, and what I show, I can't do much better in that aspect. I agree. And it's like, well, what do I do again to change the format, change the style? Um, should I continue to make more instructional videos, but also have those as my subscribers, or my members, right? Here's my membership videos. These teach you how to do what I'm doing. And then everybody else sees kind of an overview video, I have to see if I can connect my if I do memberships, connect my membership videos to my patrons so they can see it without having to be, double dipped, let's say, in that aspect. So there's lots to think about. And, I pointed this out. And I have had some conversation. I see Dustin on here. Dustin says, you've got this, got to keep Joe Daddy alive. Yes. I've had some conversation with Dustin this weekend. He's offered to give me some help, and that's awesome. As I mentioned many times, many times, y'all know this. I'm a one-man operation when it really comes down to it. I'm a one-man operation. Everything I do, 99, let's say, % of the time, is just me. It's whether I'm doing the work, all the editing, all the filming, all the setups, all the parts gathering, every single thing. I wear every hat on this side of the screen. Now I do have help occasionally. Roger lives next door, and I appreciate him every time we can get together, whether it's doing something for the videos or in the shop, or it's just us hanging out and doing something together. I appreciate that. Recently, I had March Indy. Rick stopped by, and we spent some time together, and it was a blast. Just talking to him, talking about cars and parts and projects and what's going on in the world. That was a good time. And maybe we should have filmed something together. I don't know. Maybe that's something that would be, beneficial. I don't know. I know people have said crossover with other YouTubers. I don't really know any other YouTubers. And for me, to go like out of state, that's a big deal right now. That's a big deal to try to go somewhere and meet up with somebody. So I'm open to all kinds of ideas. But the reality is, whether I do some, memberships or not, if I had 1,000 people that were membership, people, and they were paying $4.99 a month, well, look at the number. That's $5,000, right, before taxes. But again, YouTube's going to take 30% of that, so that's $1,500. So that's $3,500. Well, currently, I have, I'm making $1,400 a month. So 3,500, that's more than double what I'm making, So I'm, there's a lot of things that have to be dealt with. Clark, you should fix your camera situation so Jade looks green. I really don't think you should change anything else unless it evolves. Yes. Well, I mean, I get that. And there has to be some sort of evolution. There has to be some sort of change. I've had people say, you need to be, I hate to say it, but more entertaining, because some of these other channels, they feel like they're hanging out with these guys rather than being taught something. Okay. Well, that's hard. I'm not really, maybe not so geared for that. Now, believe me, I feel like I have a fun side, entertaining. I can laugh and joke and have fun. But when it comes to working on something, my mindset is very much, I'm an aircraft mechanic. I have to narrow down and focus and do what I do. So it's tough. It's really tough. 2732. It's hard. It's super hard to do it by yourself. Almost like you need your wife to help edit and upload or something. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It would be nice. I could tell you that, but that's not going to happen. I really hope you don't change what you're doing on YouTube. You might need to add some burnout videos. Maybe go to car shows, try to link up with other creators, and do some collaborating. Well, that's what I talked about. We talked about that briefly. And I forgot to mention. Sorry, I got to get up here and mention Jack W has checked in. Sorry, Jack. And Ish. Hi, Barry. I've been MIA due to work. Hope all is well. Yes, thank you, Ish. Glad you're here. And Fly Poo is here. You know who we haven't seen in a while? And I don't know what's going on. I sent him an email too. David and Cheryl. I hope everything is okay with David and Cheryl because they've all, they're always on here. But I haven't heard from them in a while. And I don't know if, what's going on. So David and Cheryl, if you're here, let me know. Give me a nod. 2732. I think adding a subscription to this channel will hurt you overall. Well, it might, but or a membership, like a membership thing. But then again, it may not. I had a lot of responses on my Facebook that were like, "Yeah, I would sign up for that. I would sign up for that. I would sign up for that." And the thing is, if I do a membership type of thing, I think I can put videos out with any commercials or any ads on them. I think. Now, YouTube might put one ad on the front. I don't know for sure. So I don't know, but my thought is, well, that would eliminate these ads for a lot of people because I know that everybody hates the ads. Ish, is there anything YouTube can do to help promote your channel instead of taking a chunk of the money you make? It seems beneficial to everyone. Well, here's the thing, Ish. YouTube, they only care about really two things, honestly. Subscriber count doesn't mean anything. I'll just tell you that. It doesn't mean anything. They care about people, let's say the number of views, the length of time that people watch. To me, those are the two biggest things. So the more views that something is getting, the more thumbs up, that indicates that people are watching it. When they see thumbs up, then they promote that and they push it onto other people's, like on your preview screen, whatever. They say, hey, kind of like, look at this video. But they want to see thumbs up. They want to see interactions with that video. And then they do a length of time. They end up having, sorry, I'm trying to read these things on the side as I go along, but they look for length of time. So if you have a video that is 20 minutes long, they want it to be watched for at least 10 minutes. They want everybody to get halfway through that video. And then, of course, the ads that pop up and all that sort of thing. So there's all kinds of ways they do ads. But it's difficult. It is difficult. YouTube they honestly don't care what I do. They just want to see people watching it. They want to see views. Dustin, I'd rather be taught. I'm here to learn, but I get that might not be the case for everyone. That is true. 2732. I can tell you a lot of the membership stuff for YouTube doesn't work. A lot of YouTube watchers have premium already and don't want to add. Yeah, I get that. I do. And this is why I'm tormenting myself. I'm trying to find ways to make it now. Ideally, honestly, if I had more patrons, that would be fantastic. That would help solve all of this. As it is, I said, I have like 62 patrons on the channel or on the page. And again, the Patreon people, they don't take as nearly the percentage. I don't know if I don't even know if they take, I don't know, it's 5%, 3%. I don't even know what the number is, but it's nowhere near 50% that YouTube takes. I would rather not have any ads on my channel on YouTube if I had, enough patrons to backfill what I, my needs. So that's what I need is more patrons. I've heard this from other creators. I watched tried the membership thing. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to get some feedback on that, because I have not researched who has memberships and whether they work or not. I have not researched any of that. I'm just looking at what's available. Clark, some channels were putting up pre-recorded videos as live. Don't know if that helps. I don't see where that would help anybody, honestly, as it pre-recorded, because if I did something like this pre-recorded, I can't interact. I can't talk, answer questions, or, I don't see how that would work. And there's no real monetary benefit, because the live, honestly, it gets like, if somebody clicks on this live, they'll see one video up, or ad up front, and then that's it, unless I go back in later and add segments to the video and add, drop in ad positions on the video itself. 27, sorry for so many posts, only 200 characters a lot. No, that's fine. That's fine. Rick, a lot of viewers are only here to be entertained. Yes, I realize that. And, I watched some of the Goon Squad people, they, it was like, I don't know, young guys, and they were they would talk for a little bit about what they were doing. Like, they went on one thing, they went and got some ice cream or something, and they were just having fun. Apparently they're very wealthy. They have a lot of wrecked performance cars sitting around their shop that they got somehow, and I don't know. I haven't really researched them at all, but they're building a 67 Camaro, and they don't really, again, they're not showing you how to make that engine fit the car. They put in like a late model LS engine or something. And they bought adapter plates, and it just showed them like screwing or running some bolts into the frame, and mounting the mounts. Next thing you know, they're dropping the engine in and then trying to get the transmission set up. So it didn't, they don't really showing you, to me, they weren't showing you anything. It was just watching like kind of like a random TV show, I guess. I don't know. 27, you got to make more videos. You should do some tool reviews, like your paint gun, for example, and use tags. Do a toolbox organization video in time lapse so you can get on the satisfying train. Yeah. Well, I actually tried. Well, again, by default, last couple of weeks, I put out a video every day. Now, granted, it was all in this car. It was all in this Mustang. But I was putting out a video every day just to see what would happen. It didn't change a thing. It didn't change a thing. The views didn't help. The algorithm never changed. And I was like, what am I gaining? If I'm trying to push out a video every single day, it didn't make a difference. Now, I'm not against doing tool reviews. I think what I run into is, if I've done a review or done a demonstration on a paint gun, and then a month passes, and do I do another video on the same paint gun? Or there's a lot of things that I don't mind doing a tool review. But the reality is, when I do a review on something, I'm honest about it. I had somebody offer the idea that, hey, you should get people to sponsor your channel and do basically like ads for them. Like, say, oh, today I'm using this iPhone. You should use it too. And I'm not like that. I don't want to be up here saying this is the best thing ever when it's not. I can't do that. I'm really not geared that way. And I think I would have a hard time, because I've been offered products from other foreign countries to make videos on. And I've turned away from some, because it's like headlights. I don't have enough cars to put a headlight in and say, look at this headlight. It's not really the right kind of formula for me. However, I will say this. I did a video for Yes Welder. I did for them. I've done several type of product videos like that. I've done one on the Hawkman jump starter. I did it on my little speaker that I'm using in the shop right now. I did one on the Yes Welder plasma cutter. They sent me a plasma cutter to do a review on. Well, they liked my video, and that's great. And I got another email from them. Actually, they contacted me on Instagram. They're going to send me another welder. I've been using my Lincoln 140T, and I use it on my videos. But they're going to send me something 205 MiG 205 DS or something, and a new welding helmet. Okay, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work on show using the welder as best I can, and do a demonstration on that. Now the nice part is I get a free welder out of it, but that doesn't put money in my pocket. I can tell you that. But if I can promote it and get it, if it's a good product, first of all, and I can promote it through like Amazon, well, fine, maybe that'll help out. But there's a lot of ways to do these things, but it can be difficult. DP, hi Barry, hope all is well. I think mixing up the OEMs would get you more subscribers and views and hopefully more patrons. OEMs. I guess you're talking about different cars, different types of cars. Is that what you're referring to? 27. Also try to reach out to manufacturers for sponsors. Junkyard Dig got a new welder about a year ago for the Bronco Revive. Yeah. Well, I get that. And the other difficulty is if I were to do tool reviews and stuff, then what? What do I do with that stuff? If I have a stockpile of new tools, it doesn't help me. It doesn't pay the bills. In essence. Rick, the main reason I started watching your channel is parked behind you. I'm building a 68 coupe of my own. I could never get anything done without your guidance. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. 27, you got to use your Facebook and Instagram as a teaser for a video to follow, and maybe do only 2 videos a week so you can get better hype. Yeah, I've actually done stuff like that. Many times, I don't know if you follow me on Facebook or not. I'll post pictures of what I'm working on, the dash or whatever, and I'll even say video to follow and stuff like that. Instagram, I'll post pictures of same stuff, but it just doesn't seem to hit the mark. Like, another thing that they talked about, or other people talked about, was the teaser or clickbait type of stuff. I've never been comfortable with that. Like, what did I do wrong? I've never been really comfortable with that. But apparently that's what gets people to go, oh, what's he got? What's he doing? So I don't know if I'm going to try that or not. I know I tried with like one video. I think it was my mini split. I was like, what happened to my mini split? Well, nothing happened to it. It was working fine. It never quit. Still running. But anyway, stuff like that. Check how Whistling Diesel and Weston Champlin does the social media thing. I've watched them from when they were at 5K. Okay. Nandu, I don't have a Mustang, but you do transfers to work on old trucks, which is what I have. Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff I do will transfer over, to any kind of vehicle, really. But, I need to change something. I need to change something because I can't survive on the revenue that I'm getting. Again, I would rather have 1,000 patrons, whatever, than to have 1,000 members on YouTube, because my patrons are the ones that they make the difference. They really do. I've had a few sign up, which is awesome. And I hate to just sit here and say, hey, go sign up for Patreon, and become part of that. I've had a lot of people sign up for Patreon simply because they appreciate what I do here on YouTube, right? They appreciate that. Now, I know that there's ways that you can make Patreon specific videos. I'm not against that. I've done that some, and I do make a video usually once a week on Patreon. What I do is beginning of the week, I make a shop update video. I walk around the shop and I talk about what I'm working on this week, what the plans are, what I want to do. And I try to try to get everybody on board on Patreon with what's going on, what I'm struggling with or what I'm, fighting with in parts or tools or whatever. So that's what I do on Patreon for the bulk. But I have put some videos on there that were specific for the how to of certain things. Jeff, I've seen where some channels make you buy into a raffle for some item after they do a review video. Then you can raffle off the reviewed item for paid tickets. Well, that could work. I guess that could work. I hadn't really thought about doing that. I'm not sure how. I'm not even sure how to manage that. See, that's where for me, that's like foreign to me. I mean, I don't know how you manage what you come up with for, creating the raffle process and that sort of thing. But I'm not against that at all. I may even do that. Might be a good idea. And I see my Wi-Fi screwing up. I may even consider doing that now that I have that Yes Welder plasma cutter. I don't need that Harbor Freight plasma cutter anymore, in my opinion. So maybe I'll do something about that. Maybe. I don't know yet. Ray, remember of any of the Facebook Mustang groups, you could do a picture of the project with a link to the YouTube discussing what you're doing and how it's done. Yes, I am a member of many YouTube or Facebook Mustang groups, many of those. And I do post stuff occasionally on there. Or what I found is, amazingly enough, a lot of the people on those Mustang groups, I'll see somebody come up with, hey, how do I do this fender? Hey, how do I do this quarter panel? Hey, how do I do this? And many times I was saying, people say, go to Joe Daddy's Garage. Go to Joe Daddy's Garage on YouTube. They do it for me before I ever get there. And then I just click like, and I'll respond. If people have a project, I try to respond to them. And I say, I have videos on that for YouTube or on YouTube for that. And so I try to help, get people driven there. And I don't know if if everything is saturated at this point. You know what I'm saying? With certain things that are being done, as far as like the stuff that I do, I don't know. Rusty Rods. Me either. I hate clickbait. I like channels that are more like yours. This is what we're doing today. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I hate the clickbait stuff too. And it's tough to get people interested. Like, honestly, if I were to have, I have a son. My youngest son is 27, I think. And if I want to target his age bracket or younger, I have to do something that's going to, catch my eye rather than, where I'm pretty. Honestly, I'm pretty dry when it comes to this. I always have to dry as far as my style. I don't get angry. I don't get frustrated. I can occasionally, this sucks. But I don't get. I'm not very animated when it comes to it. You look at Scotty Kilmer. For the most part, I can't stand Scotty Kilmer. I hate to say it. I don't know if he's looked at in real person or real life, but Scotty Kilmer's like, the whole time he's talking to you. Let me tell you something. And he's like yelling at you, and it's like, what am I gaining? Nothing. I'm like, but Scotty Kilmer has 1 billion views on Facebook. I mean, YouTube. He's over 1 billion. He's like one of the highest numbered people on there. And like I said, most of the stuff he just tells you, go buy a Toyota. Blah 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 blah. All other cars suck. Buy a Toyota. That's it. And I'm like, gosh, I'm not really geared that way. 27, also like Junkyard Digs does, they use the apparel dollars as entry for the giveaways. Okay. Apparel dollars. Okay. Well, I'd have to figure that out, because any apparel that I have, like the shirts all go through Teespring. I don't know how I could incorporate all that together. Ray, I didn't find your feed through Facebook. I found your feed here on YouTube. Mustangs are my first love, even though I don't currently own one. Okay. Well, I mean, I have a dedicated Facebook page, Joe Daddy's Garage, Facebook. I mean, same as here. I have a Joe Daddy's Garage Instagram. I have a Joe Daddy's Garage TikTok. I'm trying. I'm putting stuff out there. But you know, if you look for me on Facebook, just do Joe Daddy's Garage on Facebook. It should pop up. Dave Britton just dropping in to say hi. Can't stay. Terrible internet at the cottage. Okay, I'm glad you're here, Dave. I think technically that's our first Dave Bell. I think. Hey, Joe Daddy's Garage. This is Mason Fox. How's it going? Wanted to ask you how you've been. I'm doing good right now. I'm out in the shop garage with my grandpa. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Mason. Hang out with your grandpa all you can. Roberto, hello from Denver. This is Roberto and Elisa. We have a 68 Mustang we're working on as a resto mod. 68 GTCS project, HCS. Your Jade videos are spot on for what we are doing. Awesome, Roberto. Awesome. So, you know, stuff like that, I love to hear. I love to hear that people are getting, you know, inspired and they're finding ways to get their car done and worked on. But ideally, I would love to hear them on Patreon. I would love to hear them on Patreon saying, we decided that we're going to support you on Patreon because of what you're doing on YouTube. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. But I'm very happy to hear you, Roberto and Elisa. Very happy to hear you're making progress on your 68. Dustin, as far as promos, you could sell, even raffle off, sell consults. People who watch your videos are doing their best to get the project done. 30 minutes or so to answer the questions would be valuable. Yeah, and that's a very good point, Dustin. That's a very good point. I'd have to figure out how to make that. Well, you and I have to communicate more. I'd have to figure out how to make that happen. But yeah, that's a great idea. Dale, need to correct this Wi-Fi issue. Yeah, I know, but this isn't the issue. Honestly, the Wi-Fi on the live streams, that's not this. This is all secondary, really. The live streams, I like to communicate. I like to talk to everybody and get their input and answer questions if I can. But ideally, the real flow comes from my regular YouTube videos. And I'm sorry about the Wi-Fi. I've tried many things, and I may have to end up. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do, but it shouldn't even be doing it because I'm on Ethernet. 27. You need to not just be in the Mustang groups. You got to be in the motor pages, and you should get into the auto refinishing groups. That's what the other guys meant by OEM changeup. Okay, well, that may be what I need to do. I don't know. 27. You got to get the Craftsman tool guys, the Snap-on tool guys looking to organize your box, or the guys like me. Okay. Oh, that's looking for a new paint gun. I've subscribed to 10 new people using different gun. I'm looking at. I watch and look for pros and cons and things they say. I love my friend Pete. I love how he yells. Okay. How he yells. I don't yell. I'm not geared to yell. Rascal's Garage. Hi, Barry from Virginia. Glad to hear Rascal. 27. Last thing, I love what you're doing, but I don't want to switch platforms. I don't want to have to add all my monthly costs into my budget to watch videos. I get it. I really do. I really do. Have you ever had Jack's? Decent food. I don't have my coffee tonight. We have Jack's. So there's a shout out to Jack's. Yay. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. You know, I'm trying to resolve all these thoughts and processes and what can change and what can't change. Sometimes I may have to do like the Goon Squad guys, something along those lines, where I do more of an overview kind of video of what I'm doing, and maybe I mix up where I just show the process, like not teach necessarily, but just show the process and go from there. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I would prefer to have more patrons and not have to worry about these sort of things, or have my videos get watched more than 1,000 views. Because I've talked about that before. Like the latest video that I did on the gas cap, I put the gas cap on a Mustang. Now it's gotten a decent number of views. Let me see what the number is right now. I have to reload the page. It's gotten 1,400 views, which is good. 1,400 views, and I thought I did a good job explaining that. Now let me tell you this. I'll be honest, right here up front. 1,400 views. In that time period, that video has made $12. 1,400 views, $12. I mean, that doesn't pay for the cap. That doesn't pay for time. It doesn't pay the electric bill. But still it adds up. So I have to keep that in mind. Let me see. It gives me some other data that I generally don't look at very much. Yeah, they're average watch on it was 7 minutes out of a 12-minute video. Let's see, returning viewers 724, new viewers 35, and then that number drops off. But yeah, $12. But that's how it works. That's how it works. Robert, Inferno Craftsman's checking in. Glad you're here. 27. They don't have Jack in New England or Africa. What? I'm not sure what that's about. Oh, Jacks. Sorry, I said Jacks. In New England or Africa. Yeah, I think it's in the South. Only in the South. Nick, I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you once again for joining the cause. Thank you. I'll give you a bell, Nick. Ed, your channel did get me to spend money with autocrafters, ecklers, and beauty and vintage area. Would it help if we sent emails to the vendor stating we referred to your channel? It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all. I mean, because the reality is, I'm still a spokesperson for them, whether they're paying me or not, right? Because I pull stuff out of the box. I say, I got this at MBD, blah, blah, blah. I got this at CJ Pony, blah, blah, blah. Now I could have I want to share that information so that you, as either the purchaser or the viewer, can go, oh, that's where I can get that from, right? Now, if I had them come up online and say, hey, you know what, we've made sales because of you. Here's whatever, here's some money. That would be awesome. Robert, there's a company that will take your videos and trim them down to be shown on Facebook. They run your account and they take half the proceeds for doing it. The rest and others use the service. Okay, so they take what? Take your videos and trim them down to be shown on Facebook. Like, I don't know what you mean on Facebook. Because I could just share my videos. I share my videos straight from YouTube to Facebook. Now, here's the other thing, and maybe this is something I need to change. Now that you mention that, my Facebook page, I don't run any ads on there. I don't have anything going on, and maybe I need to do that. I don't have any sponsorship. I have nothing on my Facebook page. Now, I think I've got 1,500 people to follow me or something. I don't even know for sure, but there's no ads or nothing on there, and maybe I need to change that. Maybe I need to say, well, you know what? It's time that I get something out of this, because I post pictures all the time. I may mention things or talk about things, so maybe that's something I need to change. But I had not thought about I don't understand, take your videos and trim them down to be shown on Facebook. I'm not sure what that entails, Robert. 27, to help your Wi-Fi, buy another router and a long Ethernet cord so you have two routers, one inside the house and the other out in your garage. Okay. Well, I can tell you right now, I have an Ethernet cord running from the house out here, connected to my laptop. So I don't know what would happen if I had another router out here. I don't know how that would change things. I don't know enough about this stuff, but I don't know how that would change anything. I don't know. I guess I don't know if that would help. Somebody could tell me, having another router actually out here in the shop. Let me know. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But I do have an Ethernet cord running from the router in the house out here. Actually, I ran two, so in case one failed, I could have a backup. But I think it's more to do with the laptop, honestly. Something's because like right now it's perfect, or at least it's not showing any Wi-Fi symbol. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. 27. It wouldn't. I didn't know you had a cord all the way out there. I thought you were connected wirelessly. No. I'm coming straight from the router. That's what's crazy about it. Straight from the router, all the way out to here. And I also have put my laptop on airplane mode. I've turned off the Wi-Fi function, and yet it'll sit here and try to find it. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. Dustin, another router won't help if you're running off Ethernet. I think speculation was that you were wireless and signal was weak. Yes, I get that. Thank you. Okay. So let's talk about some other things, right? I mean, obviously I'm going to continue to think about revenue streams and how I can, make a living, basically. I have to think about that. It's nice to have projects and get, some revenue out of that, and I mentioned it before, like this car is probably going to be getting sold. May not have a choice. But that's reality. But part of that is I don't have space to keep every car that I work on. We know that. And what's the advantage of having multiple cars just sitting around that I don't drive, whatever. So anyway, what I think the last video I did was the gas cap video. I do have another video to edit, which will be the passenger side vent window and glass, and that'll I don't know when I'm going to get that together, but that's coming. Another thing is, I don't know if you can tell or not, the windshield is in the car. The windshield is in the car. That's a big deal. So along with that, what I started to do, after I got the windshield in and I actually reworked this window and vent window as well. I took them apart, put in new seals and stuff. And then I pulled out, I talked about it before. I've had this box for, I don't know, 8 years now. This was the Auto Custom Carpets. I finally pulled the carpet out of the box. And, here's the front section. So it's almost ready to go in. I set the back section in the car just to see how it would fit, and it looks like it's going to be okay. I'm working on getting the side panels in the back in the car and, get all that in place. And once I get the back section in, get the carpet in, I got to get the seats in, seat belts. Got to put the right steering wheel on. I've got a new steering wheel for it. Of course, do the door panels, get all that done. It's not far from actually being drivable. Well, it is drivable, but getting it, actually taking it places. Now, I do need to put the trim on. I haven't sealed the glass and I haven't put the trim on yet. So I'll have to work on that as well. Ray, it's going to work out. You'll figure all of this out. I sure hope so. But I usually don't stress over much, but life is coming at you. There's times like a year from now, I'll just tell you this, a year from now, I'm not going to have any health insurance. The only reason I have health insurance right now is because when I left and took my early retirement, they gave us 2 years of health coverage. We all know what that means. Somewhere, somehow, I got to come up with enough money to cover me and my wife with health insurance. That's the reality. That is the reality. Doesn't matter about anything else. We're going to have some sort of health coverage. So I've got to think about these things. A year from now, what am I going to do? I got to be prepared. Ish, some channels rent their videos pertaining to a certain job, i.e. welding on a quarter panel, just food for thought. Now, I don't know how you can make it like renting. I know on other websites, whether it's Vimeo or whatever, you can make it pay per view to where you say it's $2 if you want to watch this video, right? That's all well and good. I don't know if that's an option kind of on YouTube or not. I really don't know. I haven't even looked at that. Brendan checking in from New Zealand. Hi, Barry. Lunchtime at work. Just popping in to say hi. Good. Glad to hear glad you're here, Brendan. Hope all is well in New Zealand. I'm sure you're all still under some form of lockdown, right? Pretty crazy stuff. So hope all is well with you and yours. Well, actually, if you're at work, then you're not under lockdown. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I know you hear all kinds of crazy stuff on the news and different media outlets about the lockdowns and what they're doing here and there in Australia. And, so hope all is well. Rick, Barry, you need your own TV show on Motor Trend Channel TV. It would be much better than what they offer now. Well, that would be awesome. I would love to do that, but it doesn't seem like they're knocking at my door. Brendan dropping level 2 tomorrow. Okay, cool. Okay, I guess that's a good thing. I don't know how many levels there are, but level 2 sounds like a good thing. Ray, Patreon has pay-per-view, right? Patreon, there are different levels for Patreon. So I think I have an entry level of like $3. You could, if somebody wants to just, do $3, then I have one of $5, and then it's like, I think 9 is the next level. Now, honestly, I don't have a lot to offer between those because I'm doing my videos, and that's the people that help me out on Patreon. They are there because they appreciate what I'm doing on YouTube. That's where the support is. I don't know that they're looking specifically for like some big extra push of something, on Patreon. But I don't know if they have a pay-per-view. I don't know. I really don't know. Ish, I had to rent one to fix my refrigerator, and I found on YouTube cost me $7. See? I mean, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how you make a video, something you rent. I really don't. I've never seen that before on YouTube, and maybe I just don't look for stuff. I don't. Generally, when if I occasionally will look at something on YouTube for information, like if I'm working on a modern car and I need to figure out some electronic device or an engine code, something is wrong. What do I do? And I'll go to YouTube and look for stuff like that. But generally, I don't go looking at like other Mustang videos. I just, for the most part, don't. I don't think I ever really had. I had to do that. But I hadn't even seen anything that said that you could rent. That's foreign to me. So anyway, so as I was saying, I'm trying to come up with different ideas, different ways to approach things. If I could find somebody to do crossovers with, that would be great. Like these Goon Squad guys, I think there's 3 of them. Well, that's good for them because it seems like one guy is filming and the other 2 are talking and doing stuff, and there's a team effort in there. And they may even have other people to do their editing. I don't know. I think they've grown into this big thing, and they have a much bigger support group than what I have. So, you know, you can imagine anything that I'm doing. If you just try it sometime. Try to think about, okay, I'm going to do this. How do I set up my camera to film this? How do I get a good angle? How do I add light? How do I explain, all these different things? And then, oh, did I get it right that time? Let me try it again. Let me rethink how I said that. And you'll see me do bloopers occasionally on the end of my videos. But so you do all that, you do the process, get it together, show that it works and operates, and that's only half the battle. Then you got to take all that footage, and you're like, okay, I've got to turn 3 hours of footage or 2 hours of footage, whatever it is, into a 15 to 20, 30-minute video that somebody's going to want to watch and pay attention to, and then hope that it gets enough likes and views and stuff that YouTube helps promote the thing, So there's a lot to it. I don't know if many of you have tried. I know, Dawn's been doing some filming with his stuff, and Brendan has done some things, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I've actually thought about, because I years ago, I think I mentioned this before. When I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a photojournalist. I wanted to do, take pictures and write stories about stuff. And so I end up, instead of doing, photojournalism, I'm doing video, right? So I am the journalist. In essence, I'm telling a story, I'm filming the story, I'm editing the story, I'm publishing the story, I'm doing all of that, and I have like 800 videos on YouTube. Now, granted, 2013 was where I really started to get serious about making these videos. But it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Robert, it's a royal pita. Yes, it is. It really is. I've had many people ask me, well, how long would it take you to do this if you didn't film it? Like changing brakes. I can change brake pads, just the pads, on almost any vehicle in probably 20 minutes on both wheels. I mean, that's jacking it up, taking the wheels off, swapping the pads, putting it back together, all that. Probably, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to do both sides, get it all done. But if I film it, it's going to be an hour to do one side. It's going to be at least an hour because I've got to talk about why I'm compressing this caliper this way, where the fluid goes, how you recover that fluid from the master cylinder so you don't get it all over the car, or, different ways and different things. Why you torque this way and how you break this loose. There's lots and lots and lots of little things that the viewer generally just, sees it. And because of the flow, there's not a lot, you don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh, okay, I do that next. So for me, not that I ever write anything down, not that I have any kind of pattern that I, generally, I do the job and I'll explain it. A lot of times I would pretend like I'm explaining it to my son, one of my sons or something. Say, okay, now you're going to take this apart, turn it this way and do this, so that they can grasp that and know if they ever have to do it, that's how they do it. Generally, that's my mindset. And it seems to work. Rick, your work and efforts in producing these videos is appreciated. Yeah, I get that. And I thank you, Rick. Thank you for that. Rusty's Mustang Garage. Research keywords for your titles and your thumbnail. The number of views is based on these two, which watch hours based on the quality of content. Yes, I've done that. I actually have TubeBuddy. I use TubeBuddy when I make my my little little screenshot, whatever, the thumbnail. I use TubeBuddy as my editor, and then there is also for the keywords. I've used a lot of that, and that's another thing. That's actually a pay service. That's something else, and I pay to use Vimeo so that I can have videos put on Patreon easier. there's a variety of things and it adds up. Robert, I spent 3 hours filming my generator conversion and then time editing it. Actual work time to that job is 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like doing that gas cap door. Now, granted, the video I put out is 12 minutes long. Filming footage, all the segments, probably added up to 40 minutes. Reality, when you're like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, blah, blah, blah. And then, you edit stuff out, cut it down, and really, putting that gas cap door on, assembly and everything shouldn't be 10 minutes. I mean, really, it's not that complicated, but to demonstrate that, it takes a different thought process, not just I'm done, That's one thing I've always, like when I did learn a new job, when I worked at the airline, and people, their approach bothered me. Like, let's say I want to show you how to, let's say just change a wheel on a car, right? Something like that. Now, granted, on the aircraft industry, we're talking something more complicated. But whenever people would, word of mouth type of thing is not the best way to do things. Like, let's say somebody said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to change the wheel in this car. First thing you need to do is take off the lug nuts. Okay. Then what? Well, then you have to take the wheel off and then just put another wheel on and just put the lug nuts back on. Oh, okay. Well, there's nothing else I need to do, and they're like, well, no, that's all you got to do. Well, should I jack the car up first? Well, yeah, you should know that. Well, yeah, I should know that, but teach me the process. So if I need to jack the car up, is there a specific place that I need to put the jack, or do I just randomly shove it under the car and start jacking up? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So a lot of times I would get these people that would try to teach me something at work, and they would say, oh, just do this, do that, do this, do that. And I would say, wait a minute, what is the actual process? And I try to tell them, if you're going to teach me something, teach me as if I have never seen this before. Teach me as if I've never turned a wrench before. Teach me as if I know nothing about what you're talking about. And now let's start over. And they were like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So I said, sure it does. Because you might know something that is, what do they call it? Like tribal knowledge, right? Tribal knowledge is something that is passed on in a group. Everybody knows it because they do it. And nobody ever really thinks about telling the next guy that they do it. They just kind of expect him to learn it, right? And it's maybe something you never find in a book or understand. So I would tell them, show me from the beginning and show me all the steps. I don't care how mundane it is. I don't care how stupid you think it is. Show me everything you do to make that process happen. And then we'll talk. We'll go through it. And sure enough, there will be something like putting the jack under the car. The guy might go, oh, on this particular car, you can't put the jack under the side because, and I'm just saying this is as an example, you have to put it underneath this part of the car or else you'll damage the door or something. I'm like, see, now how did you expect me to know that? So, well, we kind of just all know that. Well, that's the point. So when I try to explain something or do something like that along those lines, that's where I'm at. I have to assume, for the most part, that most people don't know what I'm talking about. And early on when I was making videos, I did several. I did brake jobs, and I said, all you got to do is take the caliper off, take the pads off, put the caliper back on, here and tighten this back up. And I've had people say, well, which way do you turn the wrench? I'm like, what? And I realized, well, you know what? People don't know. They didn't grow up in a junkyard. They didn't grow up with a wrench in their hand from the time they was 5 years old and turning bolts. So that's where I have to like, okay, let me do a better job of how I explain this and why. Um, and so, I've had many people, as you all know, I've had many people tell me I'd be a great teacher. And I think I would be, because I take that approach with just about everything. And even if people, my own family or anybody, they ask me a question about, I've said this before, if they ask me a question about something and I have this big lump of knowledge about it, they're going to get it all. I tend to just, and this is what happened. But the third generation of this part, they changed the design to where you could turn it this way and it worked better, you know. But the early ones, you couldn't do that. You had to back it out and flip it and whatever, stuff like that. But that's just how I'm geared. That's how I'm geared. Let's see, 27 for tags. You should type them all out on a Word document. Then you can just copy and paste the bulk of it and add or delete based on relevance, time, and money saver, and no paid service. Yes, and I've already done that. Basically, what I do, let's say I have a series of videos on this car, and I have a bunch of tags already set up for that. Already set up. It could be Mustang, Resto Mod, Restoration, Jade Mustang, Joe Daddy New, all these things, and I just copy them and paste them, and then I'll add at the bottom windshield or new glass or replace a windshield, whatever it is, to that category. But that is something I already do, actually. But good idea. But I'm already on that. Dawn, I feel your videos are superior to mine. I tend to edit out the detail that you explain expertly. Well, I mean, it's that thing where it's like, what can I do to make sure that everybody understands what I'm talking about? Rick, funny you mentioned this. Jim, the car guy, just had a video the other day on how to change a tire on a car. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. I don't know who Jim, the car guy is. But it's there's all kinds of things that you think are just that I know in my mind, like growing up with my brother. I've said he's gone, but like growing up with my brother and understanding, hey, we both had the exact same thought process. I mean, because we're brothers, right? We actually, he was 6 years older than me, but in doing work at the junkyard on a car, it wasn't like he said, "Give me the 9/16." I would look at what he was doing, and I would already know he needs the 9/16, and I would reach for it and hand it to him before he could even say it. That's the kind of connection we had, and that was great. But generally, people don't get that. They don't have that because they didn't grow up with it. They don't have that kind of visual relation to it. Like if I told my sons, "Hey, give me the 1/2-inch wrench," they'd be over looking at the hammer drawer. They wouldn't even know where to look for it. They wouldn't even understand what it was, unfortunately. Boogie Bum, that's why I like your videos, Barry. My last job at a Nissan supplier was teaching shop leaders how to write standard operating procedures and teaching the job. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I used to do that at Delta. The job that I instructed, well, I won't say instructed, but I would have to teach new guys how to do operate the engine or the vacuum furnaces. And every time I did something like that, I would say, first thing, grab a notebook. What do I need a notebook for? Grab a notebook. I'm going to tell you some things, again, tribal knowledge type stuff, but also I'm going to tell you some procedures and stuff that we do that keeps this big hunk of metal running that you're just not going to find it in a manual type of thing. But I would always say, get a notebook. We're going to start talking. Write this down. Make this footnote. And same thing like you're saying here, SOPs on stuff. You've got to make it clear and understandable. Robert, I tend to assume people are smarter and more mechanically inclined than they are, and I learned that lesson over and over again. Yeah, well, and it's nothing against people. It's the fact that it's your environment. Like if you look at you had a curve, I'd be way ahead of the curve because I grew up doing this from being a kid, and there's a lot of things that I learned that I did wrong or made a mistake or whatever that I fixed everything else that I did later in life, but yeah, you can't assume that anybody has the same mechanical knowledge or ability that you do or I do. and just go from there. It just doesn't work. 27. I am promotes thinking for yourself and promotes the work to be able to get through troubleshooting without having to be led around by the nose. I'm an HVAC tech and trained many apprentices. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ish. In martial arts terms, you would be our sensei, teaching how to kick ass with a wrench. Oh, sensei. I like that, Ish. Thank you. 27. I also do this with my soldiers, and I've had great results. And sometimes explaining every little detail doesn't allow them to paint the roadmap in their head. And I get that. I mean, I was a soldier. I was an Army soldier. So, what was the thing? There was a manual, something with the Rangers, and it said don't forget nothing or something like that. The way it was worded, it was awkward wording, but don't forget nothing or never forget nothing, something like that. And it was, learning how to use what you have, and a lot of things were involved with that manual. But again, like you're saying with soldiers, not everybody, we'll just say not everybody played Army in the backyard, or had a relative that was in the military or stuff like that. So their experience is mostly a video game, and that's where they get their knowledge from. But you have to really paint a picture for some of them. Denny, I'll be checking in from Paducah, Kentucky. Happy Labor Day. Yes, same to you, man. Glad you're here, Denny. Terry Keithley. Hi, Barry. Terry here. Late. Happy Labor Day. No, I'm late. I didn't get started until 8, and I probably can't go much longer tonight. I'm still having some back issues. I'll say that. It was nice to go to the lake and float in the water and have some pressure off my back, but I still have some back issues. I did have picked up a slight neck issue while I was over there. I was on my buddy's boat, and I was on kind of towards the front, and he went over a wave and came down hard, and I didn't have time to react, and I kind of jarred my head. I was like, oh, man, I don't need to compound what I have already wrong. So, but the back is better. But I'm still having some back issues. Crash Rider. Unfortunately, teachers overall are underpaid. Yeah, I agree with that. Unfortunately. And my daughter will soon be one of those underpaid teachers. She finishes college here in December, and she'll be teaching little kids. And hopefully all that goes well for her. Oh, so let's see. 2732 VA TRICARE for insurance if you're a military guy for insurance. I have not looked into that very much, but I need to. I didn't retire from the military, so I don't know what the options are for availability for that. But I need to come up with something for me and my wife. So that is something I need to pursue. And I'm already trying to get some benefits from problems that I developed because of the military. So anyway, well, I need to look more into that. Lewis, hey Barry and gang, are you liking the pop open gas cap? Well, maybe, kind of in between. The pop open gas cap, is it worth the money? I'm going to probably say no overall, to be honest. If you use a spring-loaded function inside that holds the seal onto the filler neck, you're just going to have problems. So I showed in the video, I took that out, and it's, I can't drive it right now, so I don't know if it's going to pop open, but I like the way it looks. It's a cool thing, but it doesn't work the way it should. There's definitely room for improvement on that cap. 27 says VA, man. Yeah. Well, I'm actually pursuing some things. Like I said, I'm pursuing some things with the VA, trying to get some things addressed. So, but I'll have to look into that. 27, get yourself to VA. It's a long process, but you'll get back paid to the first day you walked in. You're leaving money on the table. Yeah, I realize that. And I've had some injuries that are specific to my military service. So I'm trying to get those. I've actually got some claims going right now. And probably once I get one of those claims should be approved, then I will pursue others because that one's going to relate to other problems that I have. But yeah, you're right. Robert, that gas cap looks like it's going to get in the way when putting gas in the tank. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I mean, if you think about it, the modern gas nozzle, whatever. Let's see, you're holding the thing, right? In a modern car, you've got a quarter panel or a cab or a bedside that you come up to it and come into it, right? I don't know that, like this car, it's a low cap. It's a low opening, technically. It's not high in the quarter panel. It's not up in the sail panel or anything like that. So I think naturally you wouldn't put it into the filler neck. You would have to go down low, almost like squat down to put it in at a straight shot. And that doesn't feel like it would work anyway. Wouldn't feel normal, right? You got the bumper there and stuff. So I think it's going to be natural to just put it in sideways. Just makes more sense. You're just kind of going with what space it's available regardless. So I think it'll be fine. But I get what you're saying. To 27 says, get yourself to the VA. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And if you have any input on that besides here, if you want to send me some information or any advice, send me an email. And if you're interested, there's my email at the bottom of the screen, jdaysgarage@gmail.com. I would appreciate any input because I've gone too long and too far without having recovered anything from the VA, which I need to because, yeah. All right, let me see here. Angry Andy asking for a friend. Let's say me, didn't take the measurements before I removed the cowl, firewall, and torque box from a 67 Mustang. What would you recommend? Let's see. Let me see what all you removed. The cowl, firewall, and torque box. Okay, so I'm assuming the frame rails are still in place. I'm assuming. Please tell me the frame rails are still there. Ideally, what I do in a situation like that, let me pull this banner off real quick. What I do, well, I've helped people out like that before. What I tell people all the time, if somebody has done something like that, assemble everything with clamps and screws, okay? Set the firewall in place. That's going to be your first step. Set the firewall in place based on what your frame rails will allow. Okay, get that, because you're not going to be able to put anything else in. You got to put the firewall in first, and it actually should go underneath the floor pan. Okay, so you get the firewall in, you get the cowl in, at least the lower section, clamp everything in place. So you should still have the, I guess, in the side kick panels. So your kick panels are going to dictate the height of the cowl anyway, and your firewall when it all meets together, right? Because you got the flanges. Get that in place. Now, if you have, are the aprons out? I don't know if you remove the aprons or not. The aprons are going to also dictate where the firewall sits. Basically, what I'm getting at, put everything together with clamps and screws and bubble gum or whatever, and set your panels on. Set your fenders on. Set your hood on the car. Line everything up. Make sure, everything's going to fit before you do any welding. Like I've had some people, now I don't know if it was a problem with the cowl or the fenders, They put the cowl in, welded everything in, and then they set the fenders on, and the cowl sat higher than the fenders. They're like, what do I do? Like, well, you should have done something before you got to this point. You should have checked the fenders. So I check all the fitment. I check the gaps. I check the alignment. I check the bolt holes, all those things to make sure that the exterior sheet metal bolts on the car properly. Okay. Once I'm comfortable with all that, then I can start, I can tweak this or twist that or move it or whatever. Then, put screws in or tack weld, whatever you're going to do to get it all in place. Remove the exterior sheet metal and, weld everything in. But you're going to have the firewall in before you do the torque boxes anyway. So firewall and cowl, put those back in, and then come back in and put the torque boxes in. And get the two, do the torque boxes in two pieces. Don't do it in one. You'll regret that. Harvey checking in. Better late than never. Yeah, I started late, but I'm glad you're here. Lewis, my 67 GT has a pop open and gassing up is no problem. Sideways fill. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Fabulous fortune of running the gas station where they have the hose so short it's nearly impossible to reach a center fuel door. That's a valid point. I hadn't thought about that. That's a valid point. Nick, I heard the word cowl. I literally just welded the last spot weld on mine. Feels good. Good for you, Nick. Neil, crash writer, Chicago teachers are grossly overpaid. I attended 50 years of public schooling and can count all, I guess, all my excellent teachers, professors on one hand. Most teachers aren't worth a warm bucket of spit. Well, okay. Angry Andy, thank you. Yes, to frame rails and aprons. Okay. So you already have everything in place. You just need to, you're not doing anything wrong. Set the firewall, set the cowl, test fit. If it's all good, weld, get the torque boxes in, and you'll be set. And Harvey says, Andy, sounds like a good time to put in the passenger side torque box also. Good idea. Okay. All right. Well, I know I started late and I'm going to have to, it's been an hour and almost hour and a half. So I'm going to probably call it a night. It's just been, it was, I had hoped for a better weekend, honestly, but like I said, I was keep myself awake thinking about what I need to do for the channel and how to make things better and how to make more revenue and all that sort of thing. And it's just been torturous. But I'm going to try different things. And hopefully, again, I can get more people on Patreon to support. Maybe I need to broadcast that more when I'm talking to my videos. Hey, jump over to Patreon, sign up, become part of the mission. But we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'll have more videos out this week. I'm not going to do one every day. I do have one for the side window, one for the windshield. I have another one on the motorcycle that I'm going to be putting out. And then that'll be it for now anyway. But there'll be more to come. And I will be doing some other videos as soon as this car is done. I've got some thoughts going on. Is what I'm going to tackle next. So we'll see what happens. But Leonard, I'm glad you're here, but I'm getting ready to sign off. So glad you're here, Leonard. But I'm sorry we got here late. But anyway, I'll be back. I'll do this again on Thursday at 7. Thursday at 3 p.m. I should be able to be here and make everything work. And we'll talk more about stuff and how life is going. But I hope you all had a great weekend and hope you have a good week. Be safe out there. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.